our daily life, where does the mind interrupt the experience? So when we commit to a stillness, a physical stillness, we are able to track that easier than if we're physically moving. So truth in itself is exactly what it is, and it's simple. So it's important to know the difference between what is truth and what is the mind intercepting that in itself. So if we tap into what truth is, we have to ask ourselves, well, who are you? Who am I? How can I be more receptive on a day-to-day basis of this great experience and take in the nurturing? So the truth really is also love, compassion, and this feeling of connection. So when we think about Hashem in our life and how we connect day to day, it's a commitment of, right, for some of us it's conversation and prayer, but it's really important to make sure that it's a two-way conversation, not just a one-way conversation. Rather than talking at Hashem, we are talking to Hashem. And if it is a give and take, do we spend that time creating that vessel and preparing it for the intake, which is receiving, without the mind interfering? And the mind will keep on telling us, if only I knew, or this new piece of information is going to change my experience. It might. But the thing that will impact us more than anything on a day-to-day is creating that simplicity to receive love. Not allowing the mind to interfere with, do I deserve it? Am I able to? Do I have what it takes? Am I in the space, right? Those are all things that the mind interferes with the experience. But when we think about ultimate truth, we think about being in a space where we can be completely receptive. And the only way we can be receptive is connecting, connecting with our higher power, with Hashem, or connecting with things that are larger than us and also smaller than us. Is if it becomes a two-way conversation. And if it is a conversation, And it's important to take that time to create the stillness within, to be the receiver of whatever it is that is here for us today. Love, just like everything that we need in our daily life, love is something that we need a daily dose of. And for a lot of us, if the more we get, the happier we are, the more enriched we feel, and the higher the quality is in our life. So I want you to take a moment here and think about something that allows you to feel connected. Something that allows you to feel whole. Something that gives you permission to feel completely whole in itself, but also receptive. And I want you to invite that energy into your body. So rather than thinking about that, we're going to embody it. So rather than thinking about what does it do for me, like as in future, past, or more of an illusion, right? Or an ego base, we're going to go more into the body here. And notice how the body feels in this experience. Where's their calm? Where's their flow? Where's their trust? And then I want you to ask yourself what it is that interrupts that. Is there something specific that interrupts that in itself? Coming back into a connection in the flow. It's not the truth that helps you flow, but it's allowing. It's the receptiveness. It's being the receiver. One of the most beautiful things about having Hashem in our lives, a God, a higher power, and a relationship with something larger than ourselves is the permission to feel the nurturing, to receive. Not to take, but to receive. The act of love in itself is allowing yourself to receive whatever that is, whatever that kindness is in any situation. There's so many little things in our day that give us permission to feel that nurturing, when we believe in a higher power, when we walk around with Hashem in our life, the beauty is that everything that shows up in our life, we know that it's good. And the first question that can come to mind is, how can this better my life? And if it's here to elevate the quality. And that in itself is nurturing. That thought in itself is nurturing. So it's leaning into the love, initiating it, initiating the act of surrendering to surrounding yourself with it in whatever shape and form it is, rather than, again, allowing ourselves to get lost in the mind and the mind's thoughts and whatever is velcroed to the mind, which can interrupt that receptiveness. Because the mind has many thoughts a minute. The emotion in the body can change from one moment to the next, from 1 hour to the next. So taking the time to understand that not everything that is in the mind is true or is a representation of truth. The mind is like an organizer. It will just categorize things. And it's really up to us to give it life. With the Yom Hanoram, we say like Ubacharta b'chaim, and it's just like choosing life. And really, we choose what we give life to. Taking the time in our day to commit to some stillness in the body and allowing ourselves to receive love in whatever form it is. Even just allowing ourselves to trust that everything that shows up in our life is exactly where it's supposed to be, and it comes at the exact time. So giving ourselves permission to unlock that door and choose to know that that has permission to give us life, even if it's something painful. It can be something really beautiful as well, depending on where our mind is. It will define how we feel about what is showing up. And sometimes we can have the greatest gift show up, and if we're tired or anxious, it will make it really difficult to receive the goodness completely, or receive that love and that nurturing. So the same applies to the opposite. Sometimes if we're feeling really great and we can get a challenging notice, it's easier to embrace because of our alignment. So a great way to step into your day is not searching for truth, but knowing that the truth itself exists and is always there. The truth is quiet, and the truth is something that is received. It doesn't have to defend itself in any way. But if we align our body to be receptive of it and know that the mind is a processor, it will process anything, like the gut. It'll just digest anything that is taken in. Sometimes it's more about what is taken in rather than the enlightenment that it might give you. So as you move through your day today, enter with kindness, enter with love, and give everything that shows up in your life permission to give you life and feel loved. I am Esther, your host, and this is an Ujjayi Inc. self-care meditation. Thank you so much for joining.